Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for inviting
Congratulations
me.
for clearing your FRM examination and then getting the charter.
Thank you, sir.
So, how's everything going on?
Everything is going good. As of now, I'm on career break. So, yeah, but uh, being a chartered, it feels good. It's,
That's really good to know.
yeah.
So, tell me something about you. Viewers will get to know about you, your education, or any past work experience.
Yes, sure. So, I am basically into finance. Basically, I'm a qualified chartered accountant and now an FRM certified. I've also done diploma in IFRS from ACCA UK. So this is what academically I have been uh, into. With respect to work experience wise, post my CA, I had joined ICICI Bank as credit manager, and then later. Just one second, there's
Yeah,
somebody
yeah.
at the door. I'll just.
Sure, ma'am.
Sorry.
Yeah, no issue.
So, yeah, my experience, yeah, like I did I was with ICICI Bank for 2 years as credit manager. That was my first job post qualifying CA. And then I was with Suzlon Energy as assistant manager into corporate finance domain. So
Okay.
that's how my work experience has been.
Why you pick up FRM?
Uh, so uh, Picking up IFRM, actually, I didn't knew about this course initially. Since, like I said, my first job was with the bank. During my articleship, I was more into audits and accounting, that
Correct.
domain. And Post getting into ICICI, I was, exposed to the banking rule. There was one of my colleague and even a senior who was doing FRM at that time. So I heard about the course through them, and at some point of time, it was like, I'll do it once I get a little bit settled
Correct.
in the working environment, and I'll do it. That was in my mind, and but I guess it was by destiny. Within a year, I had to take a. I was relocated to Europe and with my husband, so I didn't had work permit there because I was on a dependent visa. So
Okay.
that was at the time when I thought, I have time and I can, build my resume stronger and justify this career gap. That's how I got into FRM with the sole intention,
Got it.
to.
Got it.
Yeah.
So what means like, okay, you have done your FRM with the perspective because you are free and you want to do something to build your resume. Now,
Yes, correct.
future, how you are looking yourself in the future means now you have the degree, charter, FRM charter. So what are the
Yes.
doors and what are the opportunities actually open for you now?
So, like I was into credit domain. That's how my interest also started. Since I was into actual working atmosphere,
Correct.
I already started having interest into knowing and reaching up the ladder that you have in the corporate sector. So that's how I started visualizing myself. That interest drawn me, and post that, when I was doing my FRM, I cleared my FRM there itself. Even I had appeared for part two, but I couldn't clear it at that time. And that was the time when I had returned back to India. And when I actually sat for interviews, I could, since I already was, the resume started reflecting that, I'm already a part one cleared FRM, and it was at that time the results weren't out. So it was, pursued FRM2. Whatever questions I used to get, the opportunity that I was getting into, more into more, I would say, uh, niche kind of opportunities that I was getting, which is very rare. Being just a CA, I guess this, it just adds up to your. I was more into finance domain kind of opportunities. So then I started getting opportunities as an analyst, more into finance domain, treasury department. All of that started
So these
coming up.
opportunities are in which companies?
Uh, uh, I had interviewed around six, seven. One was Credit Suisse. That was the major taker, I would say. Suzlon was again one wherein I actually joined. Then there was Deutsche Bank. There's also one more bank. I don't recollect the name as of now, but yeah, it was more into banking banks that was actually pursuing me. And then there was this Moody's and Crisil. Those two were also there, but I had already joined Suzlon, so I didn't go for the interviews. But yes, I was getting a lot of opportunities because and it was just the first step. Post that I have not yet actually, but I'm sure that it will definitely help me.
Got it. Then how you manage your preparation of FRM part 2 with the job? Means now you are into the job,
Yes,
loan, and along with that you
that
are preparing for FRM.
yeah,
How you
I
manage
guess
both of them?
I guess that was the most difficult task. I'm sure you must be more aware about it because I used to discuss a lot about it with you. And I'm really thankful because you have pushed me, during that time, as in, your everyday calls on taking whether I have completed that chapter or not, that actually pushed me because being working, it becomes difficult. And with everybody says start early, start today, because there's never going to be a perfect day.
Correct.
It's never going to be perfect, and that is what I learned during this period. That was one of the most important lessons I guess FRM has taught me, because there's never going to be a perfect day. I started with the thought that initially I have to, because I was joining back after a career gap of 2 years. So I was very keen on performing well in my in the corporate again.
Correct.
Believing myself, and the studies took a sideline. I just I just kept it okay. Whenever I used to get time, I used to pick it up, and that was the biggest mistake that I did, because today I feel that, because luckily during that time COVID happened and the exams kept postponing, so I did get an opportunity. Otherwise it would have been difficult for
Very
me.
difficult.
Yes. So any advice that I would give to anybody who's pursuing as of now FRM, make every day count, no matter even if it is one chapter, one LO, one learning objective, one anything you do, even if it is a one paragraph, just be consistent. That's what
Consistent.
yes, consistency is the key, because the syllabus is huge and there's lot to practice, there's lot to remember, recollect. So that's the one thing that I'll recommend anybody who's doing as of now the
Means
FRM
you
course.
haven't done, but you are asking everyone
Yeah.
to do.
I did it, but it was,
Yeah,
that's
the
what
last 2 months,
yeah,
as much as I know.
last 2-3 months when I was having my baby.
Yes.
And it was, then I realized, because, in fact, that was the time when I realized that, previous time was better. You have
Correct.
to, you don't know, since we are into FRM, we are doing this risk management thing, we are learning about uncertainties, and that's how life is. Life is so uncertain, you don't know what the next thing is going to come up into it. So if today you get a chance, you better study now, because tomorrow you don't know what circumstances can come, and it might be
Definitely.
more difficult
मैंने तो
actually.
आपको बोला था जब समय मिल जाए पढ़ लो.
Actually,
That's it.
and at that time I was more into कि हाँ हो जाएगा, but
Correct.
that's what
But
yes.
anyhow, आपने मेरे साथ जो भी आपका next attempt था, you cracked it.
Yes, I cracked it.
तो
Yes.
उसके लिए
Yes,
आपने
it kept on
आपको 3
postponing. I
महीने
guess
मेहनत
after
की.
that, the attempt that I gave, I cleared actually, because
Correct.
thankfully it got postponed. So I
नहीं,
actually.
मेरा ये मानना है पोस्टपोन नहीं भी होता ना, तो आप वो लास्ट के 2-3 महीने में कर लेते.
हाँ, but
Because
वो
आपको
actually it's a
यही था
wrong
कि
thing
जब
कि हाँ
आपको
वो
deadline
वैसे ना
मिला,
करो.
तो
Yes, वो वैसे ना करो तो better है, because it's like
हाँ.
too much stress. You have office work, you have this and that, and initially actually है ना वो मतलब वो रहता है कि the responsibilities in life is going to increase. It's never going to decrease. So
Correct.
do whatever is available at that moment. Every day, something or the other, you have to do it.
करेक्ट.
It's easier.
एक और
Yes.
क्वेश्चन है मैम, एक सीए
Yes.
स्टूडेंट का एक क्वेश्चन है. उनका सीए कंप्लीट हो गया है एंड 3 years हो गए हैं एंड शी इज वर्किंग इन वीडियो एज एन
Okay.
assistant. ओके, बेसिकली प्योरली इनटू द ऑडिटिंग, ऑडिट में है वो.
Yes.
अगर वो एफआरएम करते हैं क्या बेनिफिट्स उनको मिल सकते हैं, लाइक बिकॉज यू आर ऑल्सो फ्रॉम द सेम बैकग्राउंड, उनका भी
Yeah.
सी है आपका भी सी रहा है, सेम उनका बैकग्राउंड, बट आपका एक्सपीरियंस थोड़ा क्रेडिट में था, उनका एक्सपीरियंस अभी भी स्टैंडर्ड ऑडिटिंग एंड उन सब में ही है। तो एफआरएम करने के बाद उनका क्या अपॉर्चुनिटीज मिल सकता है? अभी उनका करंट पैकेज 12.5 है, 3 years
Okay.
का वर्क एक्सपीरियंस है। अगर वो एफआरएम कर लेते डाउन द लाइन विद इन 1.5 year, what are the opportunities and what she can expect the increment in the package when she will move out in the different domain, basically in the risk management domain?
Yeah, so I definitely feel like, it's always said that, jack of all, master of none, but I don't believe into it much, because I feel today the time is more into versatility. If your resume is, versatile with changing things into it, if you're really interested into, making a career into finance domain, this is the first step. So if you do this, definitely it is going to help you, it is going to help you. Maybe this initial, when you crack the interviews, you might, at 12.5 you might just get 13, you might not get a, greater what do you say, once you switch it, because it's a new domain for you, you don't carry that experience with you. So it might be possible that, from 12.5 you might only get 14, and if you go into audit you might get a 17-18 lakhs package. But that's the initial one step. If you're really interested into it, if you really want to pursue it, the next jump will be much much higher, because people into this domain, what that is what I have felt, whatever shorter experience that I have, uh, people with knowledgeable people are very less, especially in this domain, especially in India. And this is booming because banking and finance domain is into, it's booming everywhere. I could see every company or the other, they need somebody to, to manage it, to manage their finance. And I feel you'll get endless opportunities. But yes, maybe the first step would be a little down, but I guess it compensates you in, when you see back, today, if you go back, it will compensate you.
Got it.
So
And
yes.
one more student have the question, like he has completed his FRM, a college
Yeah.
graduate. He has completed his
Okay.
college, and he is actually going for an interview in the next 15-16 days in the credit
Okay.
risk, for the credit risk.
Okay.
He's asking what how to prepare for the interviews and what can be the probable questions.
So probable questions could be, it is more generally, when I was sitting for the interview, it was more into FRM part one kind of, questions, because, they actually ask you questions which are, they sense your, what do you say, common sense kind of stuff. So one question which I still remember, they had asked me, they just drew a chart, and it was actually a frequency chart. And they asked me, there are 120 students or something like that, and the highest height is 56. So why is, the frequency chart, the cumulative frequency chart is, is prepared in a way, uh, so at that time it didn't click me. Once I gave the answer, then it clear, and I rectified it. But it's more into presence of mind what they try and ask you. So be very open to it. That's what I just make sure that you are answering in that question. Technically it was more into I would say more into credit risk domain, what ratios you can prepare for. Few ratios, I would say, that is definitely, they'll always give you some case study. The questions are asked in that way only, suppose if this is the, yeah. So they give generally those kind of questions. And yeah, that's it, I guess. So FRM part one will be there, and secondly, I would say, since it is more into credit risk, and knowing that he has cleared FRM, they are definitely going to ask Basel, few few guidelines or something like that. So
Got
these two things, I guess, will help.
And do the students require any type of technical skills with respect to Excel or Python, data science?
So Excel is definitely useful, because it's useful everywhere, be it into accounts or finance. I guess Excel comes with Python has obviously started to boom again. Python and R, these two are again. So if there is an opportunity, and if you're getting to learn, these two things are generally like these days when I see the job descriptions, they do mention that if you have a knowledge about it, or if you have an hands-on experience, it's preferable. So yeah, if you have an experience into it, well and good. If not, then you can start attaining that experience, because that's how
Means that's an
current work.
add-on, not
Yeah, that's an add-on, not a compulsion thing. Because yes, if yeah, not a compulsion thing. As of now, it is definitely not a compulsion.
correct. And students are generally confused between which domain to pick up after completing the FRM, whether market risk, credit risk, liquidity risk. So, in which sector actually the openings are very huge that they
So
can find?
I have, yeah, so I have come across, I guess, majorly into three. Operationals also is there, but if you are more into, if you want to go into regulations kind of stuff, then definitely operational is also, I guess all five are important. Depending upon, again, major thing is your interest. So for credit, you can, you can join, or you can get opportunities from the rating agencies, basically care hai, crisil hai, moody hai, so all of these are there. You can also join banks, because they every credit manager they appoint is either a chartered accountant or an FRM or a CFA, these kind of people.
Got it.
So again, credit risk will go there. Market is again liquidity and market, somehow treasury, if you want, is your domain, or if you want to go there, then these two are, or even in fact investment banking, all these generally take liquidity management and all of that. So it depends when you're studying which subject interests you more, where you want to actually seek into it. I guess all five subjects which are there in FRM, they are very relevant as of now.
Correct.
Everything has opportunities. So it's just up to you, your interest, and everything. That is what has been my experience as of now. Whatever things that I see on the internet and job opportunities that I see.
Got it. And ma'am, one more student have a question. Like
Yes,
he's
sir.
saying he have applied to multiple companies via their career portal, but no response in the last 3 months. So, is there
Okay.
any way that I can get the opportunities or I can get the interview calls? He's struggling to get it.
Yeah, I know that this is the most disheartening phase, but I guess there is also a peak time that comes, I guess, in Indian markets. And what I have realized, or whatever I go through, when I speak to my friends or colleagues or everybody, December, Jan, these times are, the peak time wherein people change, because, they have already got the previous year ka bonus and, assessment and everything is done. And now their people are frustrated and they start switching jobs. So mostly these times, you get a lot of opportunity. There's always a setback in finance, wherein there's not always a bunch of opportunities flowing every day. So LinkedIn is one of the most underrated platform, which I feel, but it is definitely right now it is booming, because a lot of opportunities gets posted there. For them, I can just say, just try your keep trying, and you will get it. It happens, it generally happens. I have been through that phase also, so I understand how disheartening it is. You can contact your friends. There have now you get a lot of WhatsApp groups, and join wherever you can. And a lot of different mediums have started coming up.
Correct,
So
ma'am.
yeah, I
You
guess.
try wherever you get the
Yeah, wherever you
opportunity.
can. Yeah, and like, just be open to it. It is, if even if you don't know certain stuff, it's okay. It's nobody has been, nobody can be prepared 110% for a job. It's okay if you don't know certain things, but just be determined when you're giving interviews. Just be determined that I guess the person on the other side just wants to see that you are capable enough to learn and grasp, and put in your efforts. That's what they look for. So if by your speech, with your body language, with your communication skill, if you can convince them that, okay, I don't know this, maybe I'll look into it, or that's how you can actually turn those interviews, even if you don't know certain things, into your
Definitely
into
learn
in, into
wherever
into
possible, try wherever
possible.
possible.
Yes,
In
yes,
the
that's the only way.
1 month, 2 months, 3 months, you will get something out.
Yes, you will get it. Yeah. So don't get disheartened. That's what I'll say. Just keep trying. There are phases, and phases obviously keeps changing. So it will happen.
Correct. Okay. One more student, ma'am. I'm
Yes, ma'am.
preparing for FRM Part 1, working in
Mhm.
PSU. And
Okay.
any guidance if you want to give to me that my preparation will become easier and I can crack the exam. My exam is in May.
Okay. So for FRM one student, I would just say, because FRM one was something that I prepared on my own. And I did it, with whatever YouTube videos and whatever available stuffs were there. I did have a lot of time because, I was just studying at that time. So, but one thing I would say, just solve a lot of questions. Whatever it's you might feel like reading a lot will help, but solving questions will actually help you more, because that's how quickly you'll be able to solve the questions and all. Secondly, since it is more practical based compared to for FRM2, FRM2 is a lot more theoretical and lot more, challenging in terms of the questions they ask, because every options for FRM2, you feel like, even the first one is correct, even the second one is correct. They're very, very finite line. And if you're not thorough with your concepts, that's what I learned when I flunked in the part 2. So yes, you might feel that you have written right, but when the answer comes, you'll feel it's the other way around. So for FRM1, just read. The principle is, the read, revise, and solve your question. That is what is the mantra. That once you are reading it, it might take 4 hours. The second time you read it, it will take 2 hours. The third time you read it, it will take. Just make it a point that it comes the data, the whatever the syllabus is, it's so small and so crisp that you can go through it just in the last day or something, because whatever you can, the last week especially is the most important thing, because you have 5-6 subjects, 4-5 subjects, and if you have not gone through all of that, you'll not be feeling confident on the exam day. So make it, I guess sir only provides a lot of last minute stuff, so that all really actually helps a lot.
Okay, there's 2 more questions left.
Yes sir, no problem.
And which books you have actually followed? He said that, sir, ma'am, there are so many materials available in the market. I'm confused which to follow, which not to follow. And sometimes I keep all the books with me and then I sleep beside it.
Yeah. So this actually happens with everybody, especially initially when you start with the course. I followed, at the end, I followed only Schweizer. That was my only thing that I followed. Wherever I used to not, feel the concept was not clear or it was not elaborated more, I used to jump to GARP reading material, which is easily available. Even if you don't get for the current year, even if you read it for the past year, you will find it quite relevant. So I would suggest, because this is the one mistake that I did, reading the first chapter and making notes and everything, and it took me a week or something to just complete one chapter. I guess I had discussed this thing with you, and you said if you because there's not much time left at that time. So rather than doing 100 or perfecting it to the level, I would say stick to a book, whichever. I guess Schweizer is it's compact also, because at the end you will not be able to revise so many stuffs, and if you don't revise it before the exam date, you'll not feel confident. So start with one book, whichever book you feel is good enough. For me it was Schweizer, so start with that. If you're facing any problem, only then jump to the second material. If you're not facing, if you understood it, then it's fine. Just move ahead, solve questions. Instead of going to another book, I would say you solve 10 questions, 100 questions of that chapter. And then you will realize, okay, I've not understood this part, and then you can jump on the second part. Because otherwise, if you keep reading it from 10 books, first chapter will only take 1 month. So it's better that you stick to book, solve questions, and then if you're facing problem, if you're not able to understand stuff, then you jump to the second question. That's how it should be.
Let's come to the final question from Ria.
Yes sir.
She's okay. She asked, have you prepared your notes for FRM part 2? If yes, can you please send it to me, ma'am?
Yeah. So for FRM1, yes, I did prepared few notes. For FRM2 also, I started doing it, but at the end it was like too much of, because I was working and I didn't get that much. For FRM 1, yes, when I was sitting, I used to prepare, but it was not very longer notes, or the best part I would say is if you're doing it from any book, start marking those, take a highlight and just mark it. My whole book is, red, pink, green, every color that I use. So that so I have, color coded my things. The first time I read, and if I find something important, I mark it with one color. The second time I only read those marking points. I try and make it compact, because you have to understand one thing. If you don't revise it on the last day or in the last week, you will not be able to perform it in the exam, because you will face very challenging questions. You will not be able to recollect that, and you might start getting confused. Oh, was it this? Was it that? So last minute revision is very important. So try and make it as crisp as you can. So that is what I used to do. One book, marking it with red first reading, फिर second reading में okay, फिर वो थोड़ा होता है ना irrelevant लग रहा है, okay, this is understood, or you prepare a small note, you put post-it. So I can share my books, but it is too clumsy for anybody else to understand.
Right. Yeah, we all prepare our own notes so that we can
yes. So, and then the second time I read, I put some other color marker or something else, and that's how I make it. That's how I have studied, all my academics. That's how I have done it. Make it crisp and clear, and refining it over and over, revising it, and solving as many as questions. If you're able to solve the first question at the correct at the first time, then you can understand that you will do that question all the time right. So wherever you are going wrong, try and pick those questions.
Work on your mistake.
Yeah, work on your mistake. That's all. Yeah,
you'll improve gradually.
Yes.
Perfect. So I think all the questions from the students closed down. Final words from you. Anything motivating?
I would just say, keep yourself calm. Every day will not be same. There will be issues. There will be something or the other coming up. So the only thing that you have to do is just be consistent. Just start today, even if it's, even if you're preparing it for November, start for today. That's the mistake that I did, and I would definitely ask anybody else. I got a golden chance because it was a COVID time. That is not going to come again.
Correct.
So because you losing one attempt, it's losing of your time, because back of the mind you are always in that zone. Even if you don't appear, it's why to keep that headache in your mind? It's better to read it and get free from that. Enjoy your degree, the sooner you can.
Correct.
So that is one. Read, repeat, and revise. That's again one thing that I would recommend. To keep revising it, solve as many questions, and good luck to everybody who is who's going to watch or who's going to listen to this. I'm sure you guys will be coming on the other side and sharing your experiences.
Definitely.
And I guess Deepak sir being, I guess I'll definitely take this opportunity to thank Deepak sir, because he's when you're doing professional courses during this time, especially when you are adult, you are 25, 30 plus people, nobody is behind you, whether have you, it's not 10th standard, 12th standard anymore, wherein your parents keep asking you whether have you studied or you have not studied. So this is completely on your own choice. I guess everybody who's doing this, Deepak sir being this, coming from this as a mentor, he pushes you a lot. He'll push you, and don't get irritated at that time, because I used to feel at times, but that is the only thing that will push you up, because every day if he is asking you whether have you done this chapter, have you not done this chapter, subconsciously you start feeling that pressure. You start feeling that accountability to you have to answer somebody. Otherwise we'll get you get, especially if you're working and all, it generally slips your mind, because there are 10,000 stuffs to do, and study being the most boring thing, you tend to give it a pass. So take that as an opportunity, take that as the push, as your the most motivating thing, because he's going to be with you throughout your journey.
It's not only your hard work too.
No, but it's definitely there. Obviously, the student who does it, obviously study to पढ़ाई तो बच्चे को ही करनी है, but it's obviously, people who are standing. If you're going on a road, especially on the success path, there are people more behind your back who actually pushes you. Correct. Those are the people who actually help you. So I would definitely give credit to Deepak, especially for FRM part 2, because otherwise I would have not cleared it. So his support has been, and
I'm also happy to be your teacher.
No, yes, thank you so much, sir.
It's always a proud to be the teacher of students who are really hardworking, who are really working hard to make my efforts fruitful.
Yes, so that's definitely there. I'm sure all your students will do that. I'm sure
definitely they all are doing, and some are really badmash kind of students who only realize when the exams come through.
One of them was me. So please don't come in that category. Please be the good one, because we will guide you at the right time. Yes. And I guess you have always helped me out whether it was, with you feel down at times, you feel like it's not going to happen. How am I going to clear? And I remember when these videos, and I was preparing my notes, it used to take a lot of time for me. But you then gave me a very great solution. Is like, you just keep watching the videos. Whatever you could relate, it's even if it is 10%, whatever 5 minutes also, if you get, just watch the videos that was shared by you on the app. So I used to do that, and suddenly somewhere or the other it started registering in my mind. You feel like, I'm not going to remember this, I'm not going to remember that. But suddenly when you start reading it, it is much faster. Correct. So I guess you have solution to all kinds of problem, and so I guess they'll be you guys are in good hands, and I'm sure you will clear with flying colors. So all the best to everybody, and thank you for having me. Thank you, sir, for having me.
And best of luck for your future. And don't forget.
Thank you so much, sir. Sure, sir. No, never. Thank you, sir.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, sir. Bye.